So we're back with another video from a Republican's point of view on politics. So this little thing that's going on right now, which is on fire here on X and on every other platform, about what's going on with the visas for the supposedly most intelligent people in the world. So now we as Republicans and as a party that has voted in and had so much confidence in these people have given everything we have to believe in them, to believe in what they're saying, the changes that they were going to bring to our country, the truth, and everything else. And now all of a sudden, a whole change of events have just occurred. All of a sudden now, it's so important to take the cap off of the people that we bring in on visas and everything else. My thing is simple. So we have all these people that are geniuses and all this other stuff, that are coming up with these ideas and everything else. Now, does it require you to be a genius to understand that our country has been bombarded and we just have way too many people in this country right now? Is it something that you require such a high IQ to understand that until we don't get this country under control and get the people that shouldn't be here out of here, until we figure out what we're going to do with our country, the issues that we need to straighten out, immigration being the number one thing, our economy, inflation, all these things that are vital to the existence and survival of our country were the things that we wanted addressed first. But nope, that's not the way it's going to go. We're going to maybe take out a couple million and then we're going to bring in a couple more million. I don't understand how that, in a genius perspective, makes any sense unless you have a stake in the game, right? At that point. So basically what's being told to Americans here now is that Americans are not smart enough to do these IT jobs and everything else because we're lazy and because we're too dumb. Let's dig into that for a second. So America, before all these opinions came into play, right? Americans built the best country in the whole world. We were number one around the whole world when it came to cars, technology, and everything else. And then all the other countries of the world came in here because we allowed them in here, and they stole a lot of our information, and then they started making things that we already had made and so forth. So my question is, if we're that dumb and Americans are not as smart as everybody else in the world, why are their countries in such shambles? If they're so educated and so intelligent in these other countries, why is it that their country is a third world country? Answer that question for me. And why is it that the dumbasses, according to them, the ones that are not smart enough and are lazy, built the best country in the world? Go ahead and tell me in any kind of genius way how that makes sense to common sense. And this is the reason, again, why educated doesn't mean that you're intelligent whatsoever. So now we have even President Trump now backtracking. This is a dangerous thing for him. Not a good thing. Not a good thing at all, because you, sir, told us, the people, and I've always been with you, but you're going to have to be careful on how you're going to do this and what you're saying right now. Because for you to now go from 1 minute saying that you're getting rid of this visa thing to we need more people in the country and more smart people and jumping onto a bandwagon, maybe that's not a good idea, sir. I think you better rethink that very, very, very clearly, and you better think this over 1,000 times before your next statements to the country come out in reference to this visa thing. I think you need to think this out and talk to Elon and talk to Vivek until you figure out exactly what it is you're going to say, because when you do come out and speak about this, it's what the people are going to base this whole thing on. So my thing is, I'm pretty pissed and offended on top of that. And I don't care. I'm not offended like a liberal where you're going to start crying. No, just don't like the idea that someone can actually sit there and say that we're just a bunch of dumbasses that don't know what we do and we don't know anything about anything. Now, here's the other thing. So now we're in the middle of course, everything is racist, right? So you got all these other, on these media platforms and, all these news channels from all over the world and all that, and you're listening to all these different people speak. Oh, the hard right, MAGA movement of America, they're racist. They don't want people in there, but it ain't because of any other reason but racism. They don't like Indians, this and that. Listen. Let's slow the roll with the bullshit compared to the truth. We, the people of this nation, are tired. We don't really care where you come from, who you are, any of that. You know what we do care about? We care about the fact that we've been second and last to everything that benefits everyone but us, and we are the ones that are the citizens of this country. You know how like we played second to illegals? You know how we're playing second right now to we're too stupid to hold IT jobs because, in America we got the most shittiest schools, so that we don't qualify for any of those jobs. But when you really think about that, that's all coming down to slave labor. And everyone with common sense knows this. This has nothing to do with racism. This has nothing to do with whether we like other people from other countries or not. It has anything to do with nothing but the truth, which the truth is that we are getting bombarded. Our jobs are being taken over by other people because they can pay them less. So we, the Americans that literally built this country through generations and generations of our families, are being kicked to the curb so that those that didn't put a dime into this economy, so that those that never put one screw into a piece of wood to build this country can take it over after it was already built for you. Isn't that just lovely? And who gains from all these things? It ain't us, the people. So who gains from all this stuff of bringing all these cheap labor into the America? Who gains from that? Who? It ain't we, the people. But we're going to find ways of talking about how this is this is that, and all this other stuff to change the truth and and the narrative, to spin it and make it what you want. Look what just happened right here in New Orleans. That, my friend, this was called a terror attack. Of course, the news ain't going to say that because, hey, we can't talk about that because that's against the narrative, and that would make the federal government look horrible, even though we already know they're horrible, right? And we know this already. So now we have to take the backseat and not say that this is a terrorist attack. It is a terrorist attack. It's a foreign entity here in America that hates our country and our way of life. So he came here and he took lives, American lives. But that's not a problem, right? That's not what's going on here, because you know what it is that we're just racist. That's all it is. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter whatever happens, this and that, it will always be spinned into racism right away. Because the elephant in the room doesn't want to be spoken about, but we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that elephant in the room. The truth is, we need to get this country under control. We need to get spending under control. I believe that Elon and Vivek need to stay exactly in the position that they said that they were going to handle, which was control government spending. Nothing to do with American policy. Nothing to do with it, and I don't think they should have a say in that whatsoever, especially when it's a conflict of interest, because they both own businesses and can and will profit from slave labor. Not happening. They need to stay where they're supposed to stay and stay out of this, because our political situation and our policies and all that, we voted for that. And they were not on the ballot, neither one of them. So that has nothing to do with it. So whether they want to say whatever they want to say and all this other stuff, now Elon, I got to tell you something, man. I honestly believe that, that you did good and you did a lot of good and everything else. But dude, you got to watch how you talk to people, man. I get it. You're rich and all that. And you feel maybe that you can talk to people whatever way you want, but you're wrong, man. You won't get away with that. The problem with that is that we, the American people, don't matter how much money you got. It doesn't make you a god on earth. And it doesn't mean that everything that comes out of your mouth is perfect and on point. That is not true, regardless of your genius status and all that. To say that would mean that you can't make a mistake and that's not possible. That's not true. Not true at all. Not true at all. So you got to watch how you talk to us, the people. You know what I mean? Because again, how did your platform become number one? Was it because you made it number one? Or because we, the people, made it number one? And the people around the world. So you see, your genius could only go so far. You have a limit. Your money can only go so far. You have a limit. You can have all the money in the world. And if you get sick and it's deadly, all the money can't save you. So you see, you're human like everyone else. If you say something contradictive to the way that people think or whatever, you're going to get backlash like everyone else. This is not one of those things where you think of yourself above. That's the problem with the globalist. That's their mentality, that they believe that they're gods on earth. But in truth, they're men just like everybody else. That's it. Men that have money and ideas like everybody else. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else to that. So the illusion that people live under when they see these things and start talking about certain people, they start believing that, listen, in truth, I was brought up by my father to believe that you respect all men. The same level of respect I have for the president if I'm in front of him speaking to him is the same one I have for the same man that's homeless in the street. Because I was taught to know the reality of mankind, and mankind is all the same. Some less fortunate than others, but men are men. All can be taken down, no matter where they are and no matter how high they are. And history has taught us that. There is no such thing as a man that's invincible or a man above man. Those are just illusions that people live under. We are all men. It's a human thing with us as a human society. We are not what some of us have these illusions of thinking that we're more than that, but we're truly not. And people that are tied down to real world and understand, that are grounded, and live in the real world, understand that. Only fools don't get that. But nevertheless, that's their choice to think whatever they want. It doesn't make it true and it doesn't make it real. So what are we going to do here? We, the American people, I think that we still have to, in my opinion, because that's all it is my opinion, right? I think that we as Americans have to now stand and take a look and see what's going to happen here between these three individuals and the new Congress. We're going to have to wait and see what it is they're going to do. I mean, they're throwing things out there and we're listening to it, and already it's off to a bad start because of what they're saying. But let's just watch what's going to happen. I think that my biggest thing right now is, let's see if they're going to get rid of all the illegals that are in here killing Americans and doing all kind of things, the gangsters, the drug dealers, the whole bit. We're going to find out if that's even true. It's going to take a little time to figure this out, but it won't take long. By the springtime, we'll know exactly where we stand, and was this decision the right decision? We as a people. So, you have all these other, like I said, all these mainstream medias and everyone else, already on the racist card again. That never ends, but never mind all that, Common sense people are the ones that are always under attack. So, let's switch gears here for a second and let's talk about the bird flu. Here we go. Funny how Like for instance, the Mastradamuses in science and the corruption know exactly when a pandemic is going to break out. They know in advance what the name of the pandemic is going to be, the virus, the whatever, you know. They know the dates that they're going to hit. Ooh, these people must be the smartest people in the world, and we must be the dumbest people in the world. We don't know that it's them. Oh, no, we can't say that because that's a conspiracy theory to say that a person that knows exactly when something's going to happen and when it's going to come and what name and everything else, and on top of that, have the vaccines ready in advance. But it ain't them, right? We the common sense people, we're just a bunch of conspiracy idiots that don't know this, right? What a joke, man. These people are just stupid, man. I'm telling you, they're so dumb. These are like guys that rob a bank and leave their wallets and their license IDs after they leave, Same kind of thing, same kind of mentality. So here we go. I already saw something this morning about, we're going to lock down for 40 days. Listen, ain't going to be no lockdown shit. Ain't going to be none of that. That ain't going to happen. Nobody wants to hear it. And let me tell you something. If you're going to release a bioweapon on humanity again, around the world, and then tell them that you got a cure to that bioweapon, which is another bioweapon to destroy them as you already did the first time around, that ain't going to happen. People are not going to do this. People have had it. The people are not going to bow down to this crap. You had one shot at it, and you made a shit show of it. Funny how that bioweapon didn't happen during Biden administration, huh? Only when Trump gets in office does all of a sudden there's an infectious disease running around, killing people left and right, right? So I really don't see that happening. I really don't. Not even close to what they think is going to happen when it comes to this time around. They're going to have to think of something else. But then again, on my past videos, I told you that before this transition wasn't going to go down that easy. And I knew that things were coming. And again, keep in mind, Washington practicing and having those drills on how to evacuate D.C., they told on themselves. What did that mean? That means that they're going to do something so foul and so horrible to our people in our country that they're going to have to hightail it out of here. That's how bad it's going to be. But left to be seen, but count on it. Count on it. If they weren't practicing that for fun, they were doing it because they have bad intentions like they always do. And this is just the same old shit when it comes to evil people and these satanical bastards that have no better thing. Their God is nothing but money. And they will do anything, even exterminate their own mother if they have to, just because of money. That's the way it is. This is why rich people are a certain kind of breed of people, because it takes a certain kind of heart and a certain kind of mentality to achieve being that kind of rich in the world. You have to be a real dog bastard in order to have that kind of money. It's all about you and your money, and it doesn't matter who gets killed, who gets murdered, it doesn't matter. All about money and power. So basically, it's all up to us now what's going to happen here. It almost feels like we as the people, the true Americans of this America, of this country that are left, the true patriots of this country that they call us racist and everything else, but we know who we are and we know what we stand for. We're almost being left alone to make our own decisions, ain't we? It's almost as if we can't even vote for someone anymore. It's almost like they're not even available anymore to represent us as a people. The minute we do, this is the kind of bullshit that comes forward. But again, I might be jumping a little too ahead on this one because these were just a couple things that were said, and I understand that social media went crazy with it and everything. I didn't say much, and I made my comments and my opinions, but I try not to go too far, with some of this stuff because I don't know yet. I need the other shoe to fall for me to make a better judgment call on what it is that's going to happen here in America now because of what's just happened and the things that I'm already hearing. I seen, This is why when people switch parties, it takes a little while before you can tell why they switch parties and what their intentions are. So it takes a little time. And this is why we shouldn't be too quick to judge either way. So if they switch a party all of a sudden out of nowhere, I guess what I'm trying to say is we need to give that individual some time before we can figure out who we're dealing with, and we shouldn't be so quick to glorify them, because this is the results we get when you move too quick on decisions like that. You got to let people, you got to give them enough rope to see if they'll hang themselves with their own rope. And this is why we shouldn't be so quick to judge it left, right, too fast, too quick. It doesn't matter what the subject in life is. This is why it's important to wait and see. Everybody made a big deal of this guy, Elon, and all this other stuff, and already here we go. First thing he did right off the snap was insult everybody. You got to watch it, man. When you hold a certain status with people, I'm not saying that you have to be a phony, but what I am saying is that you need to talk to people with respect. But to go tell them to fuck themselves in the face, some dumb shit like that, I don't know about that, man. Like I said, maybe he is a genius, but you know what? I'm not, and I know better than to talk to people like that. And I didn't have to get a PhD, and I don't fly rockets or none of that. My common sense tells me to respect people if I want to be respected. It doesn't require me to be a billionaire or any of that shit in order for me to know those basic fundamentals of life and as a person and as a man. So moving on, this here is a big problem right now for the MAGA movement, and I hate that. To tell you the truth, I kind of hate that name, and I'm getting sick of that MAGA movement shit because it's been used by the left mainstream media and all this other bullshit to make a big mockery out of us. Listen, I rather we be called patriots. That's it. Simple and done. What is the patriot? Well, the patriot is the person that's a conservative, a person that believes in their right to have their religion, a person that believes in their freedom of speech, a person that believes in the Second Amendment to protect themselves from tyranny, not for hunting, tyranny, like it's happening right now. A person that just wants to work, mind their business, pay their taxes, and do what they have to do. Not because we're being controlled, but because it's the only way a civil society should work. A person that respects and abides the laws that are legitimate, not laws that are criminal laws like the Congress and leaders of our world that are making shitty laws now that are totally immoral and everything else. We believe in, family, raising our children to do the right things, raise our children with moral respect. We're a hardworking people that know that it takes, we were born to do what we got to do by God. And, we have God-given rights by the Lord, the Creator. I worship the Creator, not the created, like satanical people that worship Satan. Satan was created, so he ain't shit, and neither are they. But either way, the thing about this is that we as a people, as patriots, these are the fundamentals of our lives. God, family, country. It's the certain way we live. And whenever we see anything or any idea that's coming along that's going to hinder or destroy our way of life, then of course we're all going to come out in force and be against it. Now you can call us whatever the hell you want, racist, this, that. No. Listen, America's been like this all along. The crazy thing about all of this is this. All these other countries around the world have borders. All of them, you vote there, you got to have ID. All of them, you can't just land there on an aircraft, get off that airplane, and walk through that border without a passport, without legitimate papers. You can't just go to the 99.9% of the other countries and buy land or houses without being a citizen or going through all this shit, red tape and everything. As an American, you can't go to those countries and do that. But if those countries come here and they don't get what they want, then now it's the other way around. You guys are a bunch of scumbags, racists, you imperialist bastards, you're a bunch of white supremacists, and every name and kitchen sink coming down the line at us. But in their countries, it's not like that. Listen, man, we just need to stop letting these people affect us in any way with whatever names and titles they're going to bring to us, because that doesn't mean jack shit, to tell you the truth. The rest of the world is doing it, and so can we, and we've always been this way. And it wasn't until this programming bullshit started with the globalists and the media, to program people to believe the horse shit that they believe in now, But America's always been, you know what I mean? So we, as a nation and as a people, don't have to stand up for any of this crap. That it's that simple. Our unity is vital. Stay united and forget about the rest of the bullshit. No one cares. Doesn't matter what they say. Doesn't matter their opinions. Their opinions are exactly that. Nothing but opinion. It doesn't mean jack shit to us. Just like my opinion to you doesn't mean jack shit. For some it'll be okay and for others not. That's your right. You like it or take it or leave it. Doesn't matter. But we're soon going to figure out what's happened here and what's made everything flip. Well, in most cases, we already know why. Money's involved, profits involved. That's what it's all about. But what isn't involved in these decisions is the well-being of the American people. That much I know. It's everything else besides that factor, which should be the number one factor. When these ideas come up, they never benefit the country or the people of this nation. It's always about money, profit, and power. That's it. Nothing else. So anyway, it's a short video real quick. My American patriots, keep your eye on the ball. Stay involved. Laying back is not an option anymore. We need to stay involved in every aspect of everything that happens here. Even the most minute thing we need to react to, whether good or bad. So God bless you guys. Happy New Year. Let's see what this year brings. Hopefully it'll be a great year for us as a nation and as a people. Catch you on my next video. God bless. Have a good New Year.